Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another wonderful session of the Diaspora Entrepreneurs Growth Summit 2019. Today, we promise you another wonderful session. So, like I always say, grab your pen, grab your paper, because you'll be making lots of notes. Our guest today, she's so full, she's so impactful, and she is just a wonderful and amazing human being. See, her name is Cherron Inko, MBE. She is an entrepreneur, an innovator, and a speaker. She is also the founder of the Power of Staff Network Consultancy. Cherron has built her brand and is now one of the country's influencers in the field of inclusion with a specific focus on employee networks. Welcome, Cherron Inko.
Thank you.
Yes. I may have made some mistake with your name, but I'll take it again. Cherron Inko.
Correct.
Good. Thank you very much. Yeah. So, the Power of Staff Networks Consultancy.
Yes.
Yeah. So, can we just a little bit about that?
Yeah, of course. So, in 2012. Up until 2012, I used to work for the government. I used to work in the civil service, doing a wide variety of jobs and some very high-profile jobs. And throughout my career in the service, I have always been involved in employee networks or staff networks, where groups who share an affinity come together to support each other and try and bring change for that group in the organization. So it could be that they share an ethnicity, or a disability, a gender, whatever. But for some reason, they're not progressing in the organization. So they come together to try and bring change and be a voice. And so in 2012, I actually left the civil service, and I wanted to try and figure out what it is I wanted to do. And one thing that I was still really passionate about were employee networks, because I know that when you get people together with their talent, their experience, and their skills, and really use that to bring change, it's powerful. So I wrote a book called The Incredible Power of Staff Networks. And since then, the consultancy grew, because people read the book and they called me up and say, can you come and work with our networks, or can you come and work with our organization? And it just gradually grew from that. So from rewriting one book, 4 years on, I now have a rather successful consultancy. So that's how it all started, really.
Fantastic. That's an amazing story. I hope it inspires one of you guys that are watching right now. So, our audience here, it's all about the passion there for as an entrepreneur. But what we are mostly focused on this summit is action. So we've heard about you. So now let's go into it. Action.
Okay.
So today we'll be talking about one of your main strengths, actually, which is relationships. So how do we use relationship as a business growth strategy?
So, because the heart of what I do is around networks, networks are about relationships. When we hear about networking events, many people misunderstand what that is. They think it's just about collecting business cards. It's not. It's about the start of building relationships. And the reason why that's important is because people want to work with people that they can trust, that they feel that there's of mutual benefit for both parties, that they feel that, they can be an exchange of ideas or challenge. And all of that takes time. Relationships take time to build, but they can be as long lasting as we want them to be. So I think when you're looking to do a business, especially if you're starting up as a sole trader, or, you're starting up on your own, it's so important for you to think about those relationships. Think about what you can offer someone, not just what you can get from that person. People will sniff out someone who's just, after their contacts or after their ideas, but they will also relish in the opportunity of building a real solid relationship with someone. And, you may not be in the same field, but you can share the same values or similar ideologies that will help both of your businesses grow. So while I understand the value of having someone's contact details, it's what are you going to do with that? How are you going to make their life easier and build that relationship? So for me, it's a fundamental strategy if you're looking to grow and develop your own business.
Great. So you might mention about 5 steps. So how do you grow this relationship, or how do you hone those skills and find the right relationship for yourself?
So for me, it's about being clear about what your offer is. What is it you are bringing to the table? So what's the craft that you've got? So know your business, know your area, know who else is doing stuff. So that's number one, because when you meet with people, they want to know what you know, right? And they want to know who you are and what you stand for and what your values are. The other thing is you need to just be prepared to study for the role that you're in. You can't just say you've got an idea and rock up and expect everyone to, buy your product or buy your services. You need to know the field, study what's going on around you, study their field, and find and point out gaps or problems and provide those solutions. So that leads me on to the third thing. It's about being solution focused. Anyone can point out a problem. Anyone can pick holes in something, but it takes a particular type of person to say, okay, let's be solution focused. I've seen this and I can help you do that. Yeah, I think that's important. And that contributes to the building and the bolstering of your relationship, because they've seen that you cared sufficiently to identify a key area or a key problem, as well as offer a solution to that. And I think when you continue to do those things and don't become complacent or begin to rest on your laurels and say, well, I've arrived now, I'm the leading expert in this, I'm good. I think that's dangerous. So I think, if you take relationships for granted, if you take your business for granted, if you become complacent and you neglect to stay alert and stay relevant and stay on top of it, it's dangerous. So I think it's important to just keep that going and keep building, keep developing yourself. So that's, for me, those are the important things for business and relationships.
Great. So if I go back to the second step, which is studying your field,
Yeah.
How has that impacted your business? How has that been a growth factor in your business?
So before I started to write this book of mine, I had an experiential, I could offer something of experience around running a network, but what I didn't know was what the theory was behind certain things, or what's the dynamics. I didn't have that theoretical background. And so I decided to find out what is out there. And that means just doing some research. It literally means doing your research, going to the library. I spent a long time in the British Library, just doing my research, finding out what's going on both in this country and abroad. I found out who else was in the field and what their approach was. I sought after people actually running networks across the country and spoke to them, because sometimes we think because we've got this experience, we know it. But I wanted to offer a multi-dimensional approach to give different people an opportunity to find out different ways of working. So, I didn't take my experience for granted. I just assumed that I still had a lot to learn. And I sat down and thought about, oh, they have this approach, they do this, what am I bringing? What's going to be different about me? What's going to be different about the offer that I'm presenting? And so it's being very clear about what your USP is, what your niche area is, how does it differ from everybody else? And in order for you to do that well, you need to know what else is out there. And that means sitting down and do your research. Lots of people like to skip this bit, they because it seems like hard work, just because, oh, I don't know anyone else is doing this, so nobody else must be doing it, so I must be okay. No. Check your facts, do your due diligence, and find out what's happening out there. And so if I had discovered that someone else had written a book about networks, I would have backed off and left it, but there wasn't one. So that's what I mean by studying your field.
Great. I told you guys, get your pen. Hope you're making some notes. Can we move down to move to the next one? So how did you position yourself to become solution focused?
Well, I'm naturally solution focused anyway. It's not that I don't want to ignore problems, but problems are problems, and every problem has a solution. So for me, it's about, okay, this is the situation we're in. Let's find out how we're going to tackle this. Yes, we may fail the first time, but we're going to still keep going. And the thing is, today in the UK workplace or in any workplace, they will no doubt have number of problems. And the difference between you and someone else getting a contract is the person that can offer a solution to those problems. So for me, if you've got various teams, wherever there are people, there will be some challenges. There will be conflict. There will be issues that arise. And I think it's important for us as consultants or practitioners to think about, okay, what approach can we adopt to help solve this problem? So I think it's important not to try and pull something off the shelf, or I did this for this organization, so it worked here. It's about going into that organization, studying it, understanding the landscape, understanding some of the culture, and then finding a viable solution to address the various problems. I don't believe in cookie cutter solutions. I think that's lazy, and I think it robs you of your integrity. I am a strong believer in getting to know the organization and beginning to implement some things or making some changes that's going to help the organization grow. So yeah, I am very much a solution focused person. I think we could spend a lot of time on unpicking the problem, a lot of time on the problem. And we do need to understand it, but we also need to understand, okay, what can we do to fix this? Yeah, so that's what I mean by being solution focused. And I think it robs you of your integrity. I am a strong believer in getting to know the organization and beginning to implement some things or making some changes that's going to help the organization grow. So yeah, I am very much a solution focused person. I think we could spend a lot of time on unpicking the problem, a lot of time on the problem. And we do need to understand it, but we also need to understand, okay, what can we do to fix this? Yeah, so that's what I mean by being solution focused.
How do you build relationships then to grow your business? Is it are there any steps to build relationships for business growth?
Well, I think the first thing to understand about relationships is motivation. What's motivating you to connect with someone? Is it that they know someone that you want to get to know, or is it that they work for an organization where you would like to be able to pitch and do some business, or is it that you just like that person at that time? So it really does depend on your motivation. For me, very rarely do I say, oh, I really want to work for that organization, I'm going to get in touch with this, but very rarely do I do that. I am just interested in people. So while I work a lot with networks and so on, I'm also a coach. So I'm naturally curious about people. And I'm also, I'm always about, okay, what's happening for you today? Or, just befriending people, being kind, find out if there's any way you can help them. You won't be able to do it all the time. But for me, it's about being interested in the person or being curious about the person and really listening to what people are saying. We're not very good listeners. We're not naturally good listeners. We hear, but we don't listen, or we don't actively listen. Sometimes when you're talking to someone, you're looking at them and they're busy looking to see what else is going on. But it's good to just really pay attention and picking up those little nuggets and then offering some solutions if they want some. So I think for me, I'm curious about the person. I'm listening to what they're saying. I'm trying to unpick what they're not saying and providing a little bit of challenge as well, and then maybe coming up with some solutions with them. For me, that helps to build a more longer lasting relationship. Do you know what I mean? It helps people think, oh, she's not just in it because I work for so and so. Do you see what I mean? So yeah.
So still on relationship. Say I run a business now and I'm feeling stuck. So what have you ever been in that situation where you say, okay, you know what, you set a goal for yourself, okay, I need to get out of this stuck mode of my business, I need to grow. So how did you grow your business?
Okay, so the first thing I have to say is I was a reluctant entrepreneur. I didn't see myself as a businesswoman. I still struggle with saying that about myself anyway. And I guess for me, I'm more driven by a message or an ethos that I'm trying to push out. So I'm not about, oh, I want to sell this how many units, I want to sell, I want this number of subscribers, I want to make this amount of money. Those are not things that are driving me. So I'm driven by helping organizations and people to understand how they can be effective. So that's my driver. So that being said, there have been times when I'm thinking, oh, what am I going to do? Where do I go from here? And you've got several choices. You can just give up. Yeah, you can just say, you know what, that's it, I'm done, I'm spent, I can't do anymore. Or you can just ignore it and just carry on doing what you're doing. Or you can just hit the pause button and remind yourself about what it is why you started this in the first place. And are you still on track? Are you suffering from mission drift? Have you gone off in a slightly different direction than you anticipated? So I think when I'm feeling stuck, I own it. I try and unravel why I'm stuck, and I try and think about, okay, what do I want to achieve in the next 6 months? What do I want people to be saying in the next 6 months or feeling in the next 6 months? And then you just think about, okay, let's go back to basics. Let's see what's happening out there. How can I apply myself to that or whatever? So I think it's just a case of recognizing that you're stuck, owning it, have a review of where you started and why you started. Are you on track? If not, get back on track. And how far away are you from your next milestone? I think just some practical things to put in place, but don't just stay stuck. Or the other thing is just reach out and speak to someone. Yeah. Just go to an event where there are other entrepreneurs or other people in your field and just speak to them, because you will find that you're not alone and you may get some ideas. And that may even start a whole new raft of relationships, a whole new raft of contacts. So, I think don't just hold it in and stay by yourself. Get out there, be a little bit vulnerable, share that you're going through a challenge, yeah? And be prepared to help others who are going through the similar challenge. Often when we're giving advice to someone and you're listening to yourself giving that advice, you're thinking, oh, I should take my own advice. So I think sometimes it's just getting out there and talking to people about it.
Because most of the listeners right now, we are kind of small businesses.
Yeah.
Yeah, solopreneurs, one-man bands, mompreneurs.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes we feel stuck. We don't know where to go. That is the main reason for this summit in the first place.
Yeah.
So it's not you need to understand that it is not just you. You are not alone feeling
That's right.
stuck, or you're not alone going through the motion. It happens to everyone. So when you reach out to people like yourself, when they reach out to people like yourself, you can help them to unravel some bolts and nuts that have been stuck in their thinking, to just get out of the fog. You can recognize where you are. Have you, like you just rightly said now, have you drifted? Do you own it? Do you go back to basics? Are you reviewing it? Do you? So those nuggets you just dropped now would actually help an entrepreneur who is feeling stuck. I always like to say feeling stuck, because I've been on that journey before, whereby I just like, you know what, I can't do this anymore. So this summit, I hope it touches just one person to just say, you know what, if I listen to what Cherron just said, go to a networking event where I have same people in my field or in my industry, they might actually help me to do And some of them is just being complacent because they've actually reached, they hit a milestone and you just feel, you know what, I can coast from here. So how do you get out of that being complacent level?
Okay, so I mean, you have to get a balance, right? Because there's a difference between being complacent and just trying to keep up with everybody else. Yeah, we have to get that balance. There's nothing wrong with surveying the landscape to see what other people are doing, just to just to keep interested and to just keep an eye on what's coming up on the horizon. Nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, I mentioned before about know your craft. Have you really reached the top of your game? Yeah, I don't think anyone could actually say, yes, I've reached the top of my game in terms of, their business and so on, because otherwise they'll be a multi-million company. So there's always room to improve. And sometimes it's about the individual need to improve something about themselves, or it could be that they need to remodel, rethink the business model, or it could be that it's time to scale down or even, increase. But whatever you're going to do, you have to be honest with yourself. Yeah, you have to be honest about where you're at and where you're going and the steps you need to get there. So I think that's really, really important. If you constantly say to yourself, I want to remain curious, if you say you want to remain curious, you will never be complacent. So I'm constantly curious about what's happening in my field. If I see an article, if I see a headline, or I hear about someone giving a speech about the topic that I'm passionate about, I want to know what they're saying. Not because I want to compete, but because I want to enhance my knowledge and my skill set. So we need to be consistently curious about our field. Or it could be that we just got bored. And if you got bored, own that. Own the fact that you're bored and think about, okay, how can I make sure that none of this goes to waste? Or why am I bored with it now? Do you see what I mean? But it takes an honest conversation with yourself, or giving someone permission to have that honest conversation with you. But otherwise, you're just going to keep going round and around in circles, resting on your laurels. And before you know it, someone else is going to come up doing exactly the same thing and pass you. So yeah, I've never been complacent. I don't think I'll ever be complacent. So yeah.
Yeah, speaking about laurels just now, I just want you to just go a little bit on that laurel path. And it's still on complacency. See, most African and Caribbean businesses, yeah, so they have issues with building relationships with customers or clients because of customer service level. So when they start, they take care of you like, oh, welcome. They say they try to have this rapport with you. So, but after after a certain amount of time, and they've actually like reached a certain milestone in the business, say like a restaurant, like an African restaurant now, Caribbean restaurant, when they reach a certain level and they start dwindling when it comes to customer relationship, customer retention, how would you advise them to like get out of that state?
Where they're beginning to neglect customers a little bit, or neglect the service they provide.
The customer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So unless they have another income stream coming in, yeah, if they're solely reliant on customers, on the footfall that's coming through the door, or on customers exchanging money in return for a service, unless that's not a necessary aspect of their business, they can carry on not worrying about it. But I can guarantee you, if they're in the service industry, or they rely on people to buy a product or a service, then I don't see how you can afford to take any customer for granted, whether they're a large client or a smaller business person. You can't afford to do that. If you think about your mobile phone, everyone has a mobile phone, okay? And the minute you stop getting the service you expect from the mobile phone, from the service provider, You're not going to say, oh, this is the only provider in the world, I have to stay with them. You're going to say, no, I'm going to close you down and switch. It's so easy to switch now. And so the same applies to us as business people. If people aren't satisfied with the service we're giving to them, they can just pack their bags and go to somewhere else. And I think investing in customer service and looking after your clients is so easy, but not to do so is much costly. It's very costly. So I don't take any of my customers for granted, because not only, even if they stop buying from you because of their own financial constraints or whatever, they can still help you, promote you, advertise for you. You know, they've still got a whole raft of networks that they can promote your business to. And so you're not saying goodbye to that customer when you treat them poorly. You're saying goodbye to them and a whole raft of other people that could be coming through your door. So if that's where you are now, I would strongly recommend that you invest in some customer service training, that you go back to the beginning as to why you need your customers. You know, who are your stakeholders? Where are their interests? Why do you need them? You know, evaluate your own service. Would you buy from yourself, treating them how you treat people? Do you see what I mean? I think sometimes we just need to go for an evaluation, do a review of your service, ask your customers to review and evaluate your service and get the honest feedback, and then think about, okay, we need to change here. You think about those companies that have stayed viable for decades, you know, those household brands like, you know, Persil or Kellogg's or whoever. They don't do that because they just believe in their product. They do that because they understand their customer needs. And they do so through surveys and on online giveaways or whatever. So they're constantly finding ways to engage with the people who purchase their product. And they've been going for years, and these are multi-million companies. So if they want to still keep doing that, why wouldn't a smaller business who's trying to get off the ground not understand that principle? Yeah. The other thing I would say is check your thinking. Have you put a limit on where your business can go? Because if you're saying to yourself, oh, I'm only going to get 10 customers a year, yeah? And you're just saying, well, they're going to be with me for a year, and the last 10 I've got, they've been with me for 5 years, I'm all right. So even if I don't get any more customers, I'm fine. What you're doing is you're limiting the growth of your business. Because if you treat your customers well, the 10 that you normally get could turn into 20 or 30. Do you see what I mean? So don't limit your thinking, or don't assume because you've treated this 10 like this and they keep coming back that you can get more. I'm not sure if I'm making sense. I'm just saying, if you want to grow, you have to think bigger. And in order to think bigger, you have to understand how to treat the customers or the clientele. You need to understand why they stay with you. Am I making sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you just touched on the root, the base, the foundation of even starting a business. Because to me, business is about giving value to a customer. So, and if there is a disconnect, there's no engagement between you and the customer,
they're gonna go.
They're gone.
They will go. They will go. I mean, I'm very fortunate. I do my homework. I do my due diligence. I'm very clear about what it is that you want, and I deliver. And because of that, they'll, someone said, do you know anyone who could do X, Y, and Z? And they would refer me on, even if the person it's nothing to do with my skill set, but they just like the approach. So that's the other thing we need to be mindful of. Excellence attracts excellence. So if we do things with excellence, that's what people are drawn to, because they see that you pay attention to detail. Yeah. When we go on holiday and we stay in a hotel, that there's thousands of hotels, but it's the ones that pay attention to detail that we want to write the good review about, that we want to go back to, that we'll recommend to our friends. The others where the towels are a little bit dirty or the place smells a bit musty, you're just like, I'm not going to stay there again. right? So it's the same thing. We want that ongoing referral from people. So I think it's important to just think about what experience you want your customers to have as a result of engaging with you. And to
Great,
me, it should be a positive one.
great. So you mentioned review now twice. I was like, review. So is review part of relationship building with your clients?
I certainly think so. I think it's important to and it's connected to not taking things for granted. Yeah. Just because they're staying with you, you don't just assume that they're happy. You confirm it. You find out if there's anything you could do differently, because it could be that they like you, so they don't want to rock the boat or whatever. But if you go to them intentionally saying, listen, thank you for being with me for X amount of years or whatever, but I'm keen to ensure that we're giving you the best service we can. Help me understand how we can improve. If there's anything that you felt we could have done better, let me know, tell me, so that we can work on that. So you're giving them the opportunity to share their thoughts and their ideas, which not only will improve that relationship, but could improve all your relationships and even bring in more revenue. So for me, a review is important. So you review the relationship you have with your customers, you review the service, the product, or whatever, but you also review your approach, your style, your skill set. Do you see what I mean? So the review is on many levels, but be very clear about why you're doing that. You're doing this so that you could take yourself to the next level, take the business to another level. Just keep improving and improving and improving. So yeah, I think review and evaluation, essential.
So we can't sweep relationship out of business growth.
You can't. You simply can't. You think about even if you're a sole trader and you have a product, you will still need someone to help you distribute. You'll still need someone to help you promote. You may still need someone to come to your event and host it for you. You'll still need someone to help you introduce you to somebody else. All of these things are down to relationships. So when you fail to pay people on time, when you don't settle your invoices promptly, all of that begins to rob you of trust. People start to feel, I'm not sure I like handling this person. Do you see what I mean? So even if you've got a great relationship, if they've sent you their invoice and they understand the terms, pay within the terms. If they've asked you to deliver a course on a specified date, do the course with excellence. Don't just do a lastminute.com and turn. No. Integrity for me is key to your business and to relationships, I think. So, yeah.
Wow. Wow. This is just amazing. I've been just here writing down. Even though this session will be transcribed, but I just can't wait. Because what you just said now, the last sentence was integrity. Come on. Because it kind of affects the way we treat each other, the way we handle our clients, the way we, when it's time to pay your invoice, pay. When it's time to do stuff, do it. When you say you want to do this, do it. Wow. It is. I am the main avatar for this summit. So you're actually speaking to the choir here. You're preaching to
I'm
the choir
sure.
here.
I'm sure.
Because it's not every day you get advice like this. It's not every day you get to hear how to like this, or how to get a wake-up call like this. You know what, you need to start building relationships. You need to start engaging with your clients. You need to start engaging with your network. You need to review. And most of the time, what happens with us as business people, or us as solopreneurs or small businesses, is just that feeling of there's nowhere to go.
Yeah, I hear that. And it can feel that way, and that's why it's important to join. I mean, you can't go to every networking event, but you can join something which provides support for people in your field, or for people who are, micro business owners or sole traders. There are lots of opportunities out there. And personally, I've joined one because just sharing with someone who can understand where you're coming from, that in itself is really cathartic, and it really does help you recognize, I'm not on my own. And it encourages you and it inspires you, especially when you hear from someone who was exactly where you were and they've made it through. So I think that's really, really important, not to just stay isolated. And also, the other thing I would say, and it took me a little while to get this, is to actually invest in yourself. Not just in your business, but invest in yourself. So you joining a network group, where you can get that support, that's an investment in yourself. Taking time out to think and take care of you, your well-being, that's an investment in yourself, because your business won't go anywhere if you aren't 100%. So we need to be 100% ourselves, both mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally. We need to be there in order for our business to really surge. Am I making sense?
Absolutely, you're making so
Yeah,
much
so
sense.
it took me a long time to understand that I don't need to make a sacrifice. I don't need to say, in order for my business to do well, I must leave myself out. I put myself second. You can have a balance. Yeah. If you're a sole trader and this is your own business, you are in control of your diary. So take control of your diary and put yourself first. Go on that course. Take the time out to go on that workshop. Make notes, apply the rules, and see what can happen. But sometimes we just go round and around and around and expecting the same thing. We do the same thing expecting change. That doesn't make any sense. So, yeah.
And you are in the right place. You've made an investment to spend time here, and you've listened to a world-class advice. You can't get it anywhere better than what she just said. Make an investment in yourself. Make an investment in yourself, because your business can't go anywhere without you being 100%.
Absolutely.
And she has said it, be there. Because you can't say go and you can't say, you can't project the next 6 months or the next 1 year, and your body, your mindset, everything is still last year. You need to be congruent with what your projection is. Take care of you. She just said it, and I can't say it any better. Take charge of your diary.
It's true.
Yeah,
Very, very true.
take charge of your diary. You own your diary doesn't own you.
That's right. That's right.
Oh, that's good. That's good advice. That's good
Okay.
advice there. That's good advice there. Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for having taking time off and sharing with us some golden, amazing advice today.
Pleasure.
And we are so grateful for this. We don't take it lightly. We don't take it as, because we can get fluffs all over the internet. You can Google any kind of stuff, but when you actually hear it from someone who has done it, who has been there, who knows what they are talking about, who has gotten their hands dirty, you should be very grateful for them sharing or taking their time off, because it's not a must that you must be here, but it is a privilege for us to listen to you speak, share your knowledge. So we are very grateful for your time today, and
You're welcome.
We have been blessed.
I'll just end with one more thing. The people ask me, why have I called my consultancy the Power of Staff Networks? So obviously power means, the ability to influence and control and so on. But power is also a step, 5 steps. And while I wrote it with networks in mind, it also applies to businesses or teams. And the first one is understand your purpose. So what is the purpose of what you're trying to do? And in brackets, what's the potential? Yeah. The O is for opportunity. What opportunities exist for your business to grow? And sometimes it's in the dark days where that presents the opportunity for your business to thrive. Because when people are going through those dark days, they need someone who can come in and offer the way forward. be that beacon of hope, as it were. So there's opportunities all around us. The W is about working with wisdom. We don't talk about wisdom anymore. Wisdom is an old-fashioned word that we don't hear a lot. But wisdom says we need experience and different types of people and different ways of working to harness all of that to collaborate with other people. Yeah, we need to use wisdom when we are working with other people. And it's not about us, it's about understanding that everyone has a contribution to make. The E is to manage expectations. Yeah, manage your own expectations, manage the expectations of others. Be very clear about what you can and cannot do. Yes, negotiate your yes, negotiate your no. Don't just say yes or no and then you don't deliver. If anything, my mantra is under promise, over deliver. Yes, most businesses, especially micro ones, over promise and under deliver, and then they lose the trust, they lose credibility. Okay, and then the final letter is R, and R is for responsibility and reputation. So remember that you have a responsibility to your customers, to yourself, to the sector that you're working in. You know, you have a responsibility to be the best that you can be, deliver the best that you can do. And that contributes to your reputation. Yes? What type of reputation do you want to build? So purpose, opportunity, wisdom, expectations, and responsibility. When we understand that, we begin to tap in some of that real powerful stuff that we need in order to grow and be successful. So yeah, those are my closing thoughts.
Whoa. Purpose, how, man? Opportunities, wisdom, managing expectations, responsibilities and reputation,
Yeah.
and recognize. Ooh, I never knew it was this. Oh, that's a good acronym.
Yeah.
That's a good
So
acronym. It's power.
yeah.
It's power.
So that's why I call it the power of staff networks, but power in that context can apply to any business or group or team that are trying to make a way forward. So yeah.
You can actually use this
That's my
to
gift.
yeah, you can actually use this to like reinvent your business.
Absolutely.
Using this power acronym, you can use it to reinvent your business, put some more power into your business. If you're feeling flat, get some power into your business.
Absolutely.
Get some purpose, get some opportunity, look for opportunities, get wisdom, actually try to hook up with, link up with people like Cherron. They can help you with that. Manage your expectation, responsibility and reputation in your business. Grow your integrity. Make sure, you've said it. You have said it. You have said it. And it gets no better than this. It gets no better than this. So if do you do one-on-one consulting or coaching, or because how do they, if they want, those that are watching us right now, if they want to get in touch with you, how can they get some more of your wisdom?
Well, to answer your question, yes, I do one-on-one coaching, and I haven't done any one-on-one consultancy per se. I normally go into an organization and do that, but I wouldn't refuse any one. To get in touch with me, they can go to the website www.thepowerofstaffnetworks.co.uk. I'm also on Twitter at POS Networks. I'm on Instagram, POSgram, and I'm also on LinkedIn under my name, Cherron Inko. So, variety of ways to get in touch with me, and all my contact details are there.
And the book is out there. You can get the book as well. It's an amazing book.
Yeah, this is the book.
Oh, yeah.
The Incredible Power Staff Networks. You can get it on my website. You can get it on Amazon. So, yeah, but come to the website and then I can sign it for you.
It's going to be personalized for you if you do that.
There you go. Just let me know you want it signed and I can arrange that to happen.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Just mention the Diaspora Entrepreneurs Growth Summit. And,
you have to give a shout out to the summit and Victor.
And she'll hook you up. All
right.
Thank you very much. Is there any word of wisdom to give us? you've just given us power now. Is there any word of wisdom to give us?
Any words of wisdom? I would say, whatever you do so with passion and do so with excellence. Yeah. And just think about what you want to be remembered for. Yeah. What's your legacy? So for me, I'm always thinking about a legacy. What will the next generation say about my contribution today? And what will your children say? Your grandchildren, your niece, your nephews, your godchildren. What is it you want them to be saying about you? So I want my nephew and my godchildren to say, "Oh, you see, Auntie Cherron, she just went for it, and she did her thing in her own unique way, but she tried to bring change. She tried to make a difference." And so that keeps me to my legacy at the forefront of my mind. So yeah, that's what I would say. Passion and excellence.
People, it's not about you anymore. It's not about you anymore. Not about you anymore. And I hope you've been taking notes. The transcript of this session will be available for you to download. So get a hold of that and go through this as many times as possible. Start building your power. Start building your power. Follow the steps that she spoke about, and I believe it might inspire you to get back. Don't neglect networking. Don't neglect networking. Cherron, I must say thank you very much.
Thank you.
I know how busy you are, so we must let you go now. Thank you very much again. We are very grateful.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
It's been my pleasure.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.